Hi, I am here with a review of Mardaani 2. How I do my reviews is I talk about different aspects about the film, then I talk about my experience, and then I give my rating at the end. This is not a review made for the general public, but this is a personal review based on my experience and my enjoyment of this film. So far this year, I've seen 62 films. Most of them are theatrical releases, but I included my Netflix movies as well. And some movies I'm really not even sure if they released in theaters, but I saw them and they were from this year. And they are 706, 72 Hours, Martyr Who Never Died, The Accidental Prime Minister, Arjun Patiala, Article 15, Badla, Batla House, Bharat, Blank, Bombardier, which is a Netflix original film, Kichore, Chopsticks, which is a Netflix original film, Chowser Farangi, Dank, Dede Piade, Dream Girl, Drive, which is a Netflix original film, Ikaladiki Kodeka Toesa Laga, Faste, Fasate, Ford Seyan, Game Over, Gone Cash, Gully Boy, Hamid, House Arrest, Netflix original film, India's Most Wanted, Judgmental Hai Kya, Jungly, Kabir Singh, Kalank, Kesari, Khandani Shafakana, Luka Chupi, Malal, Manikarnika, Malka Dar Nahi Hota, Mere Pyare Prime Minister, Milan Talkies, Mission Mangal, Music Teacher, which I think was a Netflix original film, Notebook, Photograph, Pranam, Prastanam, Rakosh, Romeo Akbar Walter, Saho, Section 375, Student of the Year 2, Super 30, The Tashkent Files, Takare, Time to Retaliate, Masoom. That movie looked real cheap. I don't think that went to any theater. Total Damal, Upstars, which was a Netflix original film. I'm gonna need Netflix to make some better original films too. Yuri, War, Waichi India, and The Zoya Factor. I enjoyed the story of Mardaani. This movie is a cat and mouse chase. Rani Mukherjee is after a rapist and murderer. This movie is very graphic, Bollywood graphic, very blatant in your face, and very jarring. I mean, it is a Bollywood film, but it's just the way they showed the bodies, for one, the way they described the things he did to the bodies, for two. I mean, I saw something happen to a particular person on a toilet, which just upset me. Even the postmodern scene, when the doctor's talking about all the things that happened, I actually shed a few tears at that point. The introduction is first of the rapist, and he talks to the camera, and I actually did like that. I actually thought the person who played the villain was very good. We usually don't get to know this much about the villain. He's just this guy in the background doing stuff. But this, it's almost as if we know as much about the villain as we do about the hero or heroine, Rani Mukherjee. I didn't like the way they made him interact, but I guess they made him, in a sense, human. He interacted with women, he interacted with children, and this guy was interacting with a dog. I was like, please, leave the children and the dogs and the women alone. It's good. I think it's a good thing to put more human characteristics than this awful guy. He is awful, but he also has human characteristics in which he can be nice and sweet and kind, even though he is evil. I thought they did a good job with the villain. In terms of the acting, I really thought Rani did a fantastic job. Two favorite shots are the intro and the end. It just made me love Rani Mukherjee. You get what I'm saying? When they introduced her and she's doing the walkthrough and the dialogue, I was like, yes, that's Rani. Just like a natural at it. And then also I really enjoyed the end, in which there is no talking, but there's words on the screen and we see Rani Mukherjee, and I'm like, she is such a natural. She is such a natural actress. She's amazing. I really love Rani Mukherjee in this film. I thought the writing was good. There are not many lines right now except for one speech that stand out, but I enjoyed reading all of the dialogue and I had no problems. I think the plot line was just really interesting and it kept moving, that it kept my interest throughout the entire film. I think it kind of lost its way at the end because, unless it's me, I don't really understand how they got to this particular person, but I just went along with it because I was already having a good time and I was already invested in the film. The movie looked great, shot for shot, scene for scene. It looked fantastic. This movie has no songs, and I actually didn't miss the music at all, but I do know that Bollywood just does a good job, or can do such a good job, of incorporating song and dance into any film, and it doesn't have to lose its message or its tone. But this film, no music, and no music was needed. More music was missed. The action was really good. It had fight scenes, it had chase scenes. It was great seeing Rani in action, and I thought she did a good job in the action sequences. I went for 11:20 in the morning because I like to go early. I don't know if it's anyone else, but I always have to have stress going to the movies. I can never get there on time. It's always like racing, trying to get there on time. Oh my gosh, I was even running late. I didn't get to buy snacks. I had to buy movie food. Do you know how expensive that stuff is? Oh my gosh. Watching the movie, I felt like I didn't think a lot, meaning that I wasn't really distracted. I just stayed on the film, just reading everything, looking at everything. I mean, you have a few commentary, but it's not like, how did this happen? Well, I think this is going to happen. It's none of that. It's like your brain is at a standstill and we're just watching what unfolds on screen. I thought that was good. I think I started thinking more into the second half, which I'll go into what my problems were with this film. At the end of the film, a couple came in and I asked them what movie they were here to see, and they said Mardaani 2. I guess they were early for the next showing. And they had a 5-year-old child with them. And I'm thinking, did you not see the trailer? What made you think this movie is appropriate for a child? I mean, half the time children aren't really paying attention to the movies, really, but still. And so I told them that I don't know if the movie is really appropriate for their child, you know, just to give them a heads up, because even for me, it was like grotesque, you know. I'm going to get into my problems with this film. She would talk to, I believe, her brother. She would have conversations with him, and I felt like they weren't needed because nothing really was revealed from these conversations. Unlike Article 15, in which, you know, Ayushmann Khurrana would talk to the reporter on the phone. We got to know how he was feeling, what he was thinking. You get what I'm saying? That was a smart way to include dialogue for Ayushmann Khurrana. In this film, it wasn't needed, so I would have taken that out. Number 2, second half, they have a countdown. They have a time clock. I was taking that out. I understand why they added it, but it's almost as if the most important thing is to just catch the guy in the least amount of time before he does something else destructive, rather than, you know, the reason why. The villain, even though I did think they kept him grounded in reality, how he was able to get from place to place and do this and this and get this and this, and them not being able to track him down better, or nobody seeing him do the things he is doing, was a bit unrealistic. Or maybe that's just me, because sometimes people don't really pay attention. But I felt like the police should have been better on his trail, because he has to do things to get from one place to another place. I mean, even at one point he talks about these explosions he has, but how does he have these explosions? Because something that happens early in the film, he faces hurdles, but he is able to easily jump over them, and he's just able to do one thing after the other thing and move from one place to another place, and no one is smarter than him. I wished it was a bit better in terms of that, but like I said, the movie is gripping, that it wasn't that bad of a problem. I understand women empowerment. I am a woman. There's a point in which Ronnie gives a speech on TV, and it's a great speech. But for me, it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed from her character. It was actually in the wrong film to me, because it really didn't pertain to what was happening. She's talking about dress, she's talking about women always being doubted, and you have all these women nodding and tearing up, and it's like, this is the wrong film. Or you could show this without having to do it this way. There were 2 people on the force who did not like Rani Mukherjee, right? But I feel like that guy, the main guy, yes, he doesn't want to listen to orders from women, but one, he wasn't even on her team, so it's not like he and her were really interacting all together. You know what I mean? He was just on the sideline. Secondly, I feel like he has a problem with authority, power in general. So even if there was another guy trying to upstage him or trying to outsmart him, he would have a problem. There were some things I did like, but I feel like, or especially the villain, he was definitely anti-woman. He was a misogynist, you know, in his actions and his words. Okay, this guy is like this overtly. What if the police guy was very similar to him subvertly? You get what I'm saying? Like, you could just see the connection without having to say, here it is, men are evil. Because, I mean, like, no one else was doubting Ronnie. And I think sometimes people have to think of doubt as like, it's because I'm a woman. That's what it felt like. Like, let's just add in, she's a woman. Like, I don't think she had this much people against her. There were no people really down her. And even so, she's a police officer. Aren't we allowed to give a little bit of doubt so we can understand what she's saying? Even that, when she was on the TV show and this person asked her the most ridiculous question to me, which makes no sense, it has nothing to do with her being a woman to me. Like, how many movies or how many times have we seen this play out and it's 2 men? How about you shut him down with some actual specific reasonings to why that makes no sense? We don't have to make it this overall generalization about how men treat women. Talk about how in this particular situation, this guy is wrong. You know, after Ronnie gives that speech, the lady a couple seats from me actually clapped. And I'm there going. And Actually, it was that part that kind of took me out of the movie for a little bit. That's when I really began to think, and I let it go after maybe a scene or two, and I just focused on the movie. But I felt like the feminist aspect was too much, and it wasn't needed for this movie. They could show it rather than have to say it. In terms of movies from this year containing rape, I think Article 15 is better. I think Section 375 is better than this movie. But I think the movie does do a good job. I like the tone of this movie. It's overall a serious movie, and you can feel the weight of this movie because big consequences are happening. As I'm watching this movie, I don't know whether to rate it as a 4 or 5. 4 or 5, 4 or 5. It could go either way, 4 or 5. And honestly, when the speech happened, I said, you know what, this is a 4. It's still a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. You should definitely go out to the theater. Support Rani Mukherjee. Rani is fantastic in it. It's a wonderful movie. That is my review of Mardaani 2. Please tell me what you think about this movie in the comments. And bye. And now I'm off to a Bollywood dance party. I think it's at a hookah bar / restaurant / bar. It's called Jolly Bali Dance Party. I'm happy.